So welcome to Roleplay Roulette. I'm joined by my colleagues from the US, Nima and Rich, and today we're going to be talking about making sure we stay in control of the sales process and get decisions at every step. And Nima is going to be demonstrating a couple of techniques or tactics that maybe you could think about using in your sales activity to help you stay in control and help make sure that decisions, clear, mutually agreeable decisions, are taken, and we never end up in that place where we're chasing and people say they want to think about it and we lose control of the opportunity. So myself and Rich are going to play the part of the prospects. Nima is going to play the part of the salesperson. Let's dig into it now.
Hey, Tom, Rich, listen, it's been a pleasure getting to know you guys over the past few conversations. And I think from our perspective, at this point is generally when we make some go, no-go decisions. However, I don't want to make any assumptions that I understand the way in which your organization makes decisions like these. So help me understand who else, in addition to yourself, do you want to incorporate into this conversation in the event we do have more to discuss?
I think it's pretty straightforward, but I'll pass it to Tom. I think he's got more experience with Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. So exactly right. We've got to speak to Dave. So Dave, head of finance, and he's going to be instrumental in building a business case, which we're going to have to do to justify this or get it passed. Because if Dave isn't on board, then we can just veto the whole thing.
Got it. Okay, well, I appreciate you guys sharing that. So let's do this. We have another 30 or so minutes allocated. Why don't we just continue our dialogue, have a deeper dive, really make sure that with the two of you on this conversation, you two feel it's a worthwhile endeavor. It's worthwhile to put the efforts and investment of time, energy, and resources to address. And then let's pump the brakes with 5 minutes to go. Assuming we're on the same page, at that point in time, why don't we co-draft some next steps together, such as what will take place, who, in addition to Dave, might want to be involved, and when it will take place. So that sound like a good plan to you?
Sounds like a great plan.
Fair enough.
So let me ask you something. You know, we spent some time talking about the solution. I personally feel like we're at a point in time where my organization can help you. Now, I don't necessarily know if you guys want that help right now, maybe later, or maybe not at all. But I'm curious, if this was your guys' decision to make kind of in a vacuum without any other buy-in or feedback from other people on your team, would we be moving forward at this point?
From my point
I'd be
of view,
comfortable moving forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to get this done.
Okay, so then here's what I suggest. Let's take some time now to kind of talk about how to make that happen, what we need to do next to incorporate Dave in the conversation, make that business case so we can get to a clear future, which is hopefully working together. And if after talking with him, it doesn't make sense, that's fine, but that way we're all in the clear, all on the same page. So what would you suggest the best way for us to make that happen?
Well, again, I'll defer to Tom. You can pick up where I leave off. We schedule a meeting with Dave. We present our business case to him. At that point, once we get feedback from Dave, we reach out to you and we share with you what direction we take. Tom, did I leave anything out?
No, I don't think so. We need to get Dave involved now.
Yeah.
Okay, now, is that a meeting that you'd want to invite me to? Or is that a meeting you guys would have internally?
Well, it's probably a meeting that we would have internally.
Okay, you know, that makes sense. Let me just make a suggestion or throw something else out there. Now, remind me again, Dave, you know, he's kind of the money guy. He's the financial minded individual. What are the kinds of questions he's likely to ask the two of you when you come with a solution like this? What are the kinds of questions he likes to ask in these situations?
They're primarily going to be focused around ROI and what the business case looks like. When are we going to get payback on this project?
Okay. Rich, anything want to add to that?
No, it's very bottom line oriented. How is this going to impact the business? What is our risk tolerance if we're to do this, similar to ROI? And when can we expect a return?
Okay, and remind me again, how quickly are you looking to see results based on this solution in the event that we proceed?
I mean, from my point of view, I want to see something tangible within 6 months. Earlier would be better.
So with that in mind, I mean, ultimately, guys, listen, this is your call. I'm not going to force you guys to do anything. I'm just going to make a suggestion. I've done this for a pretty long time. And when we get to this point in time, there tends to be the best path forward. And that usually is to incorporate me into the conversation. And here's the reasons why. Invariably, Dave will have some questions for the two of you that you may not know how to address, not because you don't know how, because you never discussed it. And that's what I do day in and day out. I help kind of provide clarity to my prospects and clients to be able to kind of figure out the answer to these questions. Not saying that not incorporating me is going to mean it doesn't get done, but I can pretty much guarantee you, if we're agreed that we want to do this, it'll get done more quickly and more efficiently if you invite me into that conversation. But ultimately, it's your call. Are you open to that, to involving me in that capacity?
I hadn't thought about it that way. It's certainly not out of the question from my point of view.
Yeah, I'd be open to it as well. And Tom knows Dave better than I do. We'd have to position this with Tom in a way that you're not going to sell, Nima, because Dave doesn't see salespeople. So it would be strictly a position in which you're just helping filling in the blanks. Has that worked? Have you done that before?
It's a great question. I'm glad you asked. The short answer is yeah. I think that what I'm hearing is if we set something up, a four-way Zoom conversation incorporating Dave, I'm more than happy to let you guys run point. And quite frankly, I think that's actually effective because most people want me to catch them up as to what they missed. Ultimately, this is you and your team's story. So I think that's a great way to go about it. I'll be involved. I'll be there to add color when need be. But ultimately, you guys would run points. I would be there to provide support, answer certain questions that haven't been addressed, maybe ask a few of my own. And then what I would suggest we do momentarily, why don't we find some time in the calendar that works for the two of you, obviously, as well as Dave. Let's schedule that, allocate, what do you think we need? An hour time? Does that work?
An hour.
Yeah, no more than an hour. And then what we'll also do is why don't the three of us schedule some time to do a little kind of pre-brief game plan, quick check-in call, the three of us to make sure we're on the same page. But I think that'll work great, Rich, if you and Tom are open to it.
That works for me.
Yep.
All right, perfect.
Good.
There you have it. Nima did a great job of planting his feet in terms of making decisions with and for his prospect throughout that sales opportunity. And these decisions are made collaboratively together, but we have to be skilled in, as a team, making decisions to get to the next step, which in this case was a demonstration. And Nima did show some poise in offering an atypical decision process to his prospects by simply inviting himself to that conversation in a very non-threatening, non-salesy way. So we hope you took some value for that. Signing off for this time, I'm Rich Austin. Thanks to Nima, thanks to Tom for their contributions. We'll see you soon.